Welcome to the dawn. You have just accessed the presentation experience. This experience will cover who the F is Tora Tora, the most beautiful girl in the world, the beautiful experience, Glam Slam Ulysses, and more. Please enjoy your experience.
Hello, my name is Chris Bournea, and you've entered the most beautiful girl in the world music video experience. The theme of my presentation is This Kind of Beauty Comes From Inside. Prince's The Most Beautiful Girl in the World music video culminates with an appearance by renowned educator Marva Collins. This talk will explore how Prince centering Collins in this seminal work demonstrates the lyrics, "This kind of beauty is the kind that comes from inside." In the video, Prince attempts to deconstruct the superficial beauty standard that the mainstream media and, quite frankly, much of the public associated with his female collaborators. Collins's presence emphasizes that beauty is much more than skin deep and shines a spotlight on a social cause that Prince had long championed. I'd like to start out by giving you a little background about myself and how I became drawn into Prince's funky little world. How is my origin story relevant to the most beautiful girl in the world music video? I'll get to that shortly. I'm a writer and filmmaker based in Columbus, Ohio, where I was born and raised. Columbus, much like Minneapolis, is a mid-sized Midwestern city. Like millions of people around the world, my induction into Prince fandom came in 1984 when Purple Rain was released. I was a preteen then. Before Purple Rain, I had kind of a foggy notion of who Prince was. Like many Generation X kids growing up in the 70s, music was the soundtrack of our lives. My mom and my aunts played vinyl albums, 8-tracks, and even terrestrial radio. I remember hearing I Want to Be Your Lover played alongside disco and R&B hits like Sister Sledge's We Are Family, which was somewhat of an anthem for the predominantly female household that I grew up in for the first part of my childhood. Fast forward to the early 80s, and I remember Little Red Corvette being played in heavy rotation on local pop radio and on MTV. My classmates at my predominantly white Catholic school seemed to think Prince was cool, but they were more into Michael Jackson. A passing interest in Prince became an obsession for me in 1984 when Purple Rain hit theaters. I turned 12 that summer of '84 on August 2nd, and I'm proud to say that I share a birthday both with literary legend James Baldwin and with Apollonia Kotero, Prince's co-star in Purple Rain. The movie resonated with me on many levels. I grew up in an interracial family. Both my parents are black, and I have 3 white step-parents and 4 biracial half-siblings. I saw my multiracial family reflected on screen in Purple Rain, dysfunction and all. And like Purple Rain, the Most Beautiful Girl in the World music video reflects the diversity of my family and of many black families, depicting women of different sizes and different hues. Now, according to PrinceVault.com, Prince sought to display an array of beauty from the very outset. In December 1993, he put out a casting call asking women from around the world to submit videos to appear in his music video. An estimated 50,000 women responded, and 7 finalists were selected to appear in the music video. An additional 30 semifinalists were featured on the cover of the single. The video was directed by Antoine Fuqua, who went on to become an A-list Hollywood director, and was filmed in January 1994 at Paisley Park in Minneapolis. And I'm sure they had nothing but warm, balmy, sunny weather for the video shoot. The fact that Prince chose to center Collins in the finale of the video is significant. He was saying that Collins is the paragon of beauty, the kind of beauty that comes from inside. He was sending a very strong message. For those of you who may not be familiar with Collins, here's a little bit about her background. She was born in Monroeville, Alabama on August 31st, 1936. She was raised in Atmore, Alabama, a small town with a segregated school system and very few resources for African American children, according to historymakers.org. After graduating from Atlanta's Clark College, She moved to Chicago and she taught in the Windy City's public schools for 14 years. Just as with her upbringing in segregated Alabama, Collins found resources lacking in the Chicago public schools. In 1975, Collins opened her own school on the second floor of her home, which she named the West Side Preparatory School. The first students included her son, her daughter, and several neighborhood children, some of whom had been diagnosed with learning disabilities. You could say Marva Collins was a pioneer in the charter school movement. Collins School drew national attention when, at the end of the first academic year, the students tested at least 5 grades higher on standardized tests. Collins was profiled in national media like Good Morning America, 60 Minutes, Time, and Newsweek. Collins obviously also captured Prince's attention, but her appearance in Prince's The Most Beautiful Girl in the World music video was not her first on-screen portrayal. Collins was first portrayed on screen by Emmy and Tony-winning legendary actress Cicely Tyson in the 1981 CBS television movie The Marva Collins Story. Reportedly, President George H.W. Bush asked Collins to be his education secretary when he was elected in 1988, but she declined and chose to directly work with children and make an impact in her own local community. Prince took an interest in Collins's school. In 1985, he donated $500,000 to establish a teacher training institute at the school. Now, it's not surprising that Prince would consider Collins as representing the kind of beauty that comes from inside, considering the women who raised Prince, his mother, Mattie Shaw Baker, and his surrogate mother, Bernadette Anderson. Mattie Shaw was a singer who met Prince's father, John L. Nelson, in the Blue Note Jazz Club in Minneapolis. After marrying Prince's father, Mattie earned a social work degree from the University of Minnesota. She worked in the Minneapolis public schools for years, helping scores of young people, according to People magazine. And that sounds a lot like Marva Collins. Bernadette Anderson was the mother of Andre Simone. You can find plenty of interviews with Andre talking about how Prince stayed with his family when Prince was having trouble at home as a youth. So, what was Bernadette Anderson's influence on Prince and the community at large? This is an excerpt from a City of Minneapolis document proposing the renaming of a portion of Russell Avenue North in her honor, which happened in fall 2024. Bernadette Bernie Anderson was a community activist and youth advocate that had a profound impact on many in Minneapolis, including Prince Rogers Nelson during his formative years. A focus of Bernadette Anderson was her help with the youth. That also sounds a lot like Marva Collins, does it not? These extraordinary African American women helped Prince form his early vision of what constitutes true beauty. And so it's not surprising that Prince saw Marva Collins for the beacon of light that she was. And so it makes sense that he featured Collins as the epitome of beauty at the finale of The Most Beautiful Girl in the World music video. Collins's appearance in the video contrasts with the stereotypical image of the quote-unquote Prince girl. That stereotype is of a multiracial, Latina, white, or otherwise light-skinned, racially ambiguous, young, curvaceous woman who can rock a skimpy outfit on stage. If you haven't seen Camilla Cummings' excellent presentation from the DM40 GB30 symposium, Sisters in the Temple, I would highly recommend seeking it out on the Polished Solid YouTube channel. In her presentation, Camila does a thorough job of deconstructing the stereotype of the Prince girl. She persuasively argues that Prince always championed women of different shapes and sizes, particularly black women, both in front of the camera and behind the scenes. I wholeheartedly agree with Camila. People who reduce Prince to a stereotype of being quote-unquote color-struck and only favoring light-skinned or white women don't see the many facets of his multi-dimensional universe. Some critics dismiss him as only being interested in primal instincts, dance, music, sex, romance, and not necessarily in that order. because Prince disavowed recreational drug use, did not openly endorse a political candidate or declare an allegiance to a political party, and later in life was a Jehovah's Witness who presumably didn't vote, people mischaracterized Prince as apolitical or even conservative. But Prince's social consciousness did not fit into a neat category, and it was present from the very start of his career, from portraying an unplanned pregnancy in the song Baby from his debut album For You to the activist anthem We March on the Gold Experience. Centering Marva Collins in the most beautiful girl in the world music video is part of Prince's long history of bringing awareness to social issues in a provocative way. Now, I have to be honest and admit that before preparing for this presentation, I hadn't watched the most beautiful girl in the world music video for years, maybe even decades. And in going back and revisiting the video, I have to say that it doesn't represent the broad diversity of women in the way that I remembered or misremembered. I think I had conflated the cover of the cassette single with the music video, and the cover of the single is more diverse than the video. Most of the women in the video are light-skinned or white, with a few brown-skinned black women, including Nona Gay portraying the election of the first female president, and of course, Marva Collins herself. Collins' presence in the most beautiful girl in the world music video is the crown jewel of the video. And it represents Prince's move in the 90s to be more open about the social causes he championed, culminating with the founding in 1996 of the charitable organization Love for One Another with his then wife Maite Garcia. The foundation organized food and clothing drives and supported arts and music programs in schools, something Prince had been doing anonymously for years, according to several articles I came across when doing my Googles, as Michael Dean says. Prince was an artist, a philanthropist, and a champion of women of all different backgrounds. Prince was not one thing, he was many things. Prince was a complex human being with complex beliefs and behaviors. And over time, those beliefs and behaviors evolved. And the most beautiful girl in the world music video represents, in large part, that evolution. The phenomenal woman featured in the finale of the music video, Marva Collins, passed away on June 24th, 2015 at the age of 78. Her legacy lives on, and Prince immortalized her in the most beautiful girl in the world music video. Thank you.